Now we get into movies. And in movies, we have Fantastic Four update, an announcement for an announcement, so that kind of sucks, but we're going to get there. SAG-AFTRA affecting Mortal Kombat 2, as well as more layoffs in the digital side of things as far as movies go. So let's talk about all of this. Welcome, nerds, to the movie news for the week. This is where we're going to be talking about all of the nerdy and/or pop culture related movie news that we can get our grubby little hands on. So, like, if it's been announced, if there's a new trailer, if there's casting, all of that's gonna be here. So let's get into that, shall we? Let's start with follow-ups and corrections. First up, coming out the gate with the big stuff, well, kind of. Fantastic Four. Director Matt Shakman has confirmed that they do have a cast, and that an official announcement of that cast is going to be coming sometime in the upcoming weeks. Very much likely whenever the SAG-AFTRA situation works itself out is when they're going to make the announcement. So once that comes to its conclusion, then we will get the proper announcement of this is who is going to be in the Fantastic Four. So we're all waiting with bated breath. Shakman, don't screw this one up. That's all we got, though, is an announcement for a future announcement. So moving right along, continuing in follow-ups and corrections, we have Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's interpretation of the famous story is set to begin filming in February, and has also added to its cast. I don't remember exactly who else is on this, and I couldn't find it with the very cursory bit of research that I did for the other cast members, but Christoph Waltz is now part of this cast, so that is significant and awesome, and all we have. So let's move on. From there, Mortal Kombat 2 is our next piece, and actually this is a little bit larger than just Mortal Kombat 2, but I had to relate it to Mortal Kombat in some way. So the SAG-AFTRA stuff is coming to an end. The Writers Guild stuff ended last week, officially ended last week. They ratified all of the things that needed ratification. They signed all the papers and dotted the I's and crossed the T's and so on and so forth and what have you. So the hope was, at least for people who were on the consumer side of things, the hope was that they were going to get back to work as normal and just kind of pick up where they left off, which they kind of are. But there are priority things that need to be done before they can get back into things that weren't technically started. Mortal Kombat 2 was started, but there was not enough of it for it to take priority. This actually comes from a number of different sources aside from whatever is linked down in the description. The first source I saw that was talking about this said very explicitly that the cast is not going to return to filming, even if the actors' strike ends tonight. The cast will not be returning to filming until January of 2024. So at least 2.5, 3 months or so before they even get back to filming, which puts the movie out to at least 2025 before it's released, and though it was supposed to be released, I think this year, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments. But yeah, so the things that are taking priority, first up is obviously the ADR. Anything with ADR that still needs to be done, or pickups, anything that needs reshoots, anything like that, all of that is going to take priority. And then the things they're going to work in reverse effectively. If it was close to finishing, that's going to be priority. If it was halfway done, then that goes behind it. And if they had just started it, then that goes even further behind it. And they kind of technically just started Mortal Kombat, so that's why it's all the way back here, whereas like ADR is all the way up front over here. So yeah, that's kind of the state of things, sad as it is, but it is an update nonetheless. So let's move into trailers this week. We got two great ones. A proper trailer for the Eli Roth Thanksgiving slasher movie, Thanksgiving. And is it weird that I'm excited to see a slasher movie? I think part of it has to do with because there's not a whole lot of like Thanksgiving-oriented movies, let alone Thanksgiving-oriented horror movies that they're like decent. So excited about that. Slashers are kind of fair game as far as quality horror movies go. So I could get into that for sure, and I'm kind of excited about it. Our other trailer this week actually just came out this morning, and it's for a movie from A24 called Iron Claw. The Iron Claw, starring Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White. That is correct. White, rather, not Wright. White. The kid who played Lip and is in The Bear, and that kid, that dude with all of the acting ability and the pretty eyes and such, he is going to be acting alongside Zac Efron in a movie about a wrestling, like WWE style wrestling, what is the word that I used in the notes? Empire from the 60s, the Von Erich Empire. The movie is set to release into theaters December 22nd. It looks like it's going to be great, but not exactly the kind of great that would, yeah, you just go watch the trailer, you'll see what I'm saying.
Hey nerds. So, Nerdagon, one more time. Just reminding you that your subscription really goes a long way. Also, you know, if you like this, the thumbs up goes pretty far too. But really, we're just doing the subscription drive right now, so be sure to push that subscribe button if you're on the YouTubes and really any other platform you follow us on, because, you know, we like doing this, and so we want to come back. So the best way to do that is if you're here to come back too. So we love you, and yeah, let's get back to the news, I guess. Bye.
That's what we got for trailers. Let's talk now about some regular ass news. We got some pretty interesting stuff this week. Snow White, the original animated movie Snow White, is getting a proper 4K remaster. If you are watching the show and not just listening on screen now, you should be seeing a comparison between the original cell and what they've been doing to the cells of animation. And it looks freaking amazing. The original movie came out in 1937. They're going back to the original animation cells that Walt Disney himself did, and they're revamping those, adding contrast, making them just kind of pop just a little bit more, because degradation through time happens. And it just looks really freaking. I was saying animation cell. I was saying that incorrectly. It was the original negatives from those original animation cells, because I would imagine the actual animation cells don't exist anymore. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. This is actually not the first one of these that they've done, just the oldest one that they've done so far. From there, we have more layoffs in the digital side. DreamWorks Animation Studios is laying off 70 of their employees. The quote from the studio that went to Variety is as follows, quote, DreamWorks Animation reduced its workforce by approximately 70 positions. Roles affected were across corporate functions, feature, television, and technology departments as part of an overall cost reduction. Ooh, that sucks. First it was the gaming side of things, now it's the movie side of things, and that directly affects the TV side of things as well, generally speaking, because all of these studios are kind of connected. So that's highly unfortunate, but it is, again, a sign of the times. From there, we've got some more movie news. Mr. Monk's Last Case has been announced. If you are a fan of the series of Monk, starring Tony Shalhoub, which a lot of people are, me included, it is going to be, so this is, sorry, I'm trying to read the notes to remember the piece. This is something that was actually announced some time ago, and I don't think we talked about it here on the channel. So this is technically a follow-up, but since we didn't talk about it, it's news and it's happening. It is a movie that they're making that is kind of the conclusion of the Monk story. It will be on Peacock December 8th. It is going to Peacock. It's not going into theaters. It's streaming only, kind of to be expected with a movie based on a TV show. That's what we got. Let's move on. And then we have Daredevil. This is huge. The Disney Plus Daredevil show that was almost done, they were about halfway through filming by most accounts, is going back to the drawing board. That is correct. You heard me accurately. Disney is completely scrapping what they have for this series, and they're going back to the drawing board and starting fresh. They have fired the directors involved and the writing staff involved, and they are now currently hiring new writers for this project. Will this push the release date of the series back? Very likely, though that has not been announced just yet. They have completely revamped this writer's room. At first I thought this was a rumor, and then it was confirmed by the major trades that this is actually happening. So this could be a good sign of things to come. We will be keeping tabs on this though as it continues. Let's roll along, and that brings us to suggestions for the week here in movies. Our Halloween suggestion is Event Horizon. This movie messed me up as a kid. Paul W.S. Anderson, who would go on to also I think actually Mortal Kombat was before this. Either way, Paul W.S. Anderson, who also directed Mortal Kombat, the original 95 movie, because this came out in 97, so there you go, is the director of this, and it stars Laurence Fishburne, Sam Neill, Kathleen Quinlan, Joey Richardson, and is just like Lovecraftian horror in space, and is so dark and great for the season. Go watch Event Horizon. If you've never seen it, you owe it to yourself to watch it. If it's been a while, then refresh your memory as to why it's potentially one of the greatest horror movies out there. And once again, nerds, this is just a clip from the main show, The Weekend Nerddom, over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go check that out for the entire episode, or just stay tuned here for other news related to nerdy pop culture stuff and just random fun little bits. Before we head out, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.